Oh yeah, we got a 1999 Dodge Durango 5.2 liter 318 V8. I'm going to do some spark plugs on it, but that's not what this video is about. This video is actually going to be about like what you should be able to figure out underneath the hood, like if you're a new driver. For instance, this is my niece's truck. We got it for her. It was my brother's, and we bought it for her to get around. So problem was the power steering pump went out, and it was leaking fluid everywhere. Blew a line, and it was leaking fluid everywhere. And we said, hey, just get some fluid in and get it home. Well, the problem was, and that's where I want to make this video, is she had no idea where the pump was. She had no idea where the brake reservoir was because the brake line blew out too. We live in Pennsylvania, rust, everything's this old, things break. So she had no idea where any of this was, and that's not her fault. I think it's more of not even a parenting thing, but I think it's just like the DMV. I mean, they'll let you drive, but you have no idea what you're doing underneath the hood. So something I've always wanted to do, so I'm going to make a little video of what's underneath the hood, what you should be able to look for. If somebody tells you to go buy some engine oil, you need to put some engine oil in it, you should be able to figure out where to put it. And a lot of people don't have any idea. They're just like, I'll take it to a mechanic. No reason for that. So this video, I'm going to go over where things are. It's not going to be in depth. This is just a quick, easy video. I would think that everybody, before they start driving, before they, when they turn 16, they get their vehicle, they should be able to do this stuff pretty easily. So, like I said, quick little video on it, and we'll get into it. Okay, like I said, power steering pump was what actually blew out on this vehicle, and it's right here. And an easy way, the lighting's not going to be very good today, but as you can see, there you go. A lot of these things are labeled, okay? But an easy way to remember this is it's a pump, and a pump has to be driven off of something. And right here, as you can see, it's running off a serpentine belt, right here. And that's the pump pulley, okay? And you can see the lines underneath, but that's where the power steering pump is. And you have to, all you do is unscrew it, it's got the lid, and then you got to mark, see? And some vehicles, you got to also know, some Fords and stuff take ATF, and some vehicles take power steering fluid. If you change out, if you go to ATF, which is a very good cleaning agent, you also have to remember you got to clean everything out. Make sure you get all new stuff in it if you change the pump. So again, it's a pump. You got to remember, if it's a pump, it's running off something. The newer vehicles, you also got to remember, this is an older vehicle, and I'm going towards like 16-year-olds that like their first vehicles, and I'm going to say like 98% of them are going to be running like this. Newer vehicles, they have electric power steering. It's a different setup, but this is just old school. So this is what I'm going to explain to you about that. And like I said, it's a pump, so remember that pump, pump, pump. It runs off of the belt, so it might not be there. It might be over on this side. What's that? That's the alternator. That also runs off your serpentine belt. So, being that we're on this, if this belt breaks and you're going down the road and your light comes on for your battery, you have low voltage, there could be a bunch of different things, but an easy thing to check is just pop your hood, pull over on the side of the road, pop your hood, and see if the belt's on. This is a serpentine belt, so it's got one belt that runs everything. And if this belt breaks, one, you're not going to have power steering. Two, you have no... your battery's going to die, because your vehicle, what it's designed to do is your battery is there to fire the vehicle up. So it has like a little over 12 volts, and you fire that up, and once the motor's running, the alternator is turning, juicing everything up. So if you're driving down the road and your battery light comes on, first thing to look for, your belt. See if your belt blew off. Some vehicles have multiple belts, and that little belt might snap off. So keep an eye on that. Also, your fan. Everything runs off of that on down there. It's hard to see, but check. You got to check on your belts. And this one's going to be kind of hard to see with the lighting, but sometimes they got cracks and stuff in them. If they got cracks, just replace it. They're pretty cheap, and you don't want to be left on the side of the road. Also, your AC runs off of it, which that's probably going to be your least of your worries if you are on the side of the road. But again, it runs your AC. What else we got? Okay, right here. Easy one. Engine oil. So what you want to do on these is whenever the engine is off and cool, it can be warm, that's fine, I guess, but yeah, that's fine. If it's warm, if it's cool, either way, you want to make sure you got oil in it. All you do is you pull that out and you wait until, it's hard with one hand, but you got a line, a full line, and make sure it's there. Let me put this back in. What you want to do is you want to wipe it off and then put it back in. Okay, so it's clean, and then you pull back out, and that's where your measurement's going to be. And if it's not even on the stick, start adding it. Where do you add the oil? Right there. These caps, and you got to look. Some 4-cylinders, they'll have them like right in the middle. Most of the time, the 4-cylinders will be the mode will be in here like sideways, and it'll be right on top. And usually it says oil, but either way, that's where you're dumping in at. What else we got? We got over here, and you got to look. See, okay, so that's yellow, so it's bright, get you right in the face. That's yellow. Okay. What else we got? We have this. That is transmission fluid, and it's also yellow, so it catches your attention. And this, you're supposed to check while the engine's running, get it warm while it's running. Put you put something to block the wheels, and put the vehicle in neutral. And check the fluid. Same way as you're checking the engine oil. Pull it out, clean it off, put it back in, pull it back out, and look. And it'll be like the same thing. It'll have a little full mark or wherever you're at. And when you want to fill that, you just pull that out, fill it right down in there. Dump it down, wait a little bit, and check it. You're good to go. Washer fluid. These sometimes are tricky to find on some of these vehicles. This one's easy because it's right there and it's big and yellow, so no one can miss it. But sometimes they put them up here and they'll hide them. And if they're not hidden, then you can't find them. It's just you won't see them real quick. So keep an eye on that. Sometimes they're around in this area or over there, but keep an eye. That's where you put your washer fluid. And obviously your air box, that's where your air filter goes. And this one's actually really dirty. I told her to replace it, and he never did. So that's where you need to replace those and make sure you get clean, because this is a big pump. Your engine is a big pump, and if you're trying to run a mile and you got a mask on you, how's that going to work? Not very well. So it's the same thing with an engine. You got to have a clean air filter in it, bring a nice clean air in. You can get aftermarket filters. They let a little more dirt in. That's a whole other topic, but nice clean filters lets smooth air in, lets the engine perform the way it needs to be. Dirty air filters, your engine's going to run like crap, and your gas mileage is going to go down through the roof, or down through the floor, I guess. So yeah, so keep an eye on that. And that's, like I said, that's real easy. There's the dealerships, I forget what they charge to do it, a filter change. Like, it's absolutely outrageous. I remember at the Ford dealership, it was like 0.3 hours or something to replace this. It's like 4 snaps off, put a new filter and drop it. I mean, that's insanely easy. Anybody can do it. The auto stores, just get yourself one. Easy to do. This, actually the engine's a little warm, so I'm not going to mess with it. But this is your coolant, and you can fill it here. Is probably your best bet. If the engine's cool, make sure that's full. But if it's not and you need to fill it, this is backwards. Boom. And this one's a little bit different design, but sometimes you can actually see the level, but this one actually has like little bubbles. That's hard to see on here, but it's got little bubbles, and it tells you how full it is. Some other ones, like I said, they just have a reservoir, and you can see where the level is on that. And let's work our way over to this side. As you can see, the battery, that also needs to be checked every once in a while. This battery is actually getting pretty old, and the cranking amps, the battery's just getting old, and the cranking amps just aren't there anymore. So, but this right here is your brake reservoir, and you can kind of see sometimes in it, you can see it's low. Okay, why is it low? Well, it could be mostly, if they're low like that and you still have brake pedal, it's because your brake pads are worn down. So the pistons in your calipers are out, causing the fluid to fill that gap. And that's probably what it is. These, I think it had cheap front brake pads put on, and they just wear out like crazy fast. So that's going to need checked over anyways. But don't be scared, and don't top it off, because if you top it off and the pads are low, you put new pads on it, you're going to overfill the reservoir. So that is a closed system. Unless you got a leak, and you're going to be able to feel it. If you have a leak, you're going to feel it in your foot when you're pushing on the brakes. This one is pretty darn low, so we're going to check those brakes here shortly. It needs inspected anyway, so we have to do that. But yeah, and that's where you fill it. And on here, usually they say what it takes. Sometimes they're .3 or .4. I forget, I might even be missing it here, but either way, get whatever is, if it calls for .3, if I'm not mistaken, you can put .4 in it. .4 can compensate for .3, but if it calls for .4, you can't put .3 in it. It just doesn't work. It's designed for one. .4 can compensate over .3, but you can't go the other way. And then I think there's .5, and that's like for racing or something like that, I forget. But yeah, so that's basically it. Again, it's just a quick little video. I guess it's not that quick. We got some time in this one, but it's just something very good that everybody should know where to check all this stuff. And it is going to be a little different on each vehicle, but this is something, if your parents and your kids are starting to drive, do a little research on it. Figure out where everything is and go over it with your kids. So if they're stranded on the side of the road, they can at least somewhat get themselves hopefully back or talk to somebody. So, like I said, guys, I'm going to jump into doing the spark plugs on this now. But if you like it, give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next time.